Now that we're about halfway through this year's football season, many teams are evaluating what's working and what's not to better prepare for the rest of the season. And just like those teams making adjustments to win, how those who are close to retiring can make halftime changes now to win their retirement. Joining us to discuss all that, Gary Mattson, Taylor Stewart, part of the family at Mattson Financial Services. They're a firm that's been helping people retire successfully right here in West Michigan for decades. You can also catch them on their popular radio show, Money Mentors. Now, Gary, Taylor, I love the football analogy, by the way. Love that, because I'm assuming, I'm a Bears fan. We're probably out of it already. So what are the challenges that you see retirees facing in the middle of this game that we're all playing?
Yeah, well, the game's called life, and retirement's just one of those big milestones, right? So it really takes a multifaceted approach. We got to count the X's and the O's on the field. We need to do what we call enhanced planning, looking at all of the different areas of retirement, not just, hey, here's my investments, how are they performing, this is the income, but looking at things like taxes, Social Security, house costs, other things like healthcare, rising costs there, and bringing those all together to make sure that they're going to work fluidly and efficiently for your overall portfolio. So making sure that we're bringing all of those pieces together is really paramount as a part of that overall enhanced plan.
Yeah, there's two things that we don't want to do. We don't want to have a Hail Mary, and we don't want to give up in the middle of the game thinking we can't win. Those are the two things that people come to us and say, I just feel like I need to give up. I can't win in the market. Or, you know what, I want to go in on this one thing because I know it, if that wins, it gets me back to where I should be. Those are the worst scenarios that you want to be in. So we want to put together a plan that takes care of you all the way through that. And again, if the quarterback gets hurt, we've got another quarterback sitting there ready to go, warmed up, going to take right over, and it's going to be a seamless. And that's the part that really makes our job fun.
When it comes to having a game plan, let's stick with the sports metaphor here, any quarterback can get a play, walk up to the line, and try to implement that play. But man, we all know audibles. They need to be called. How do you determine how to make that game plan work for individuals who are so different from each other?
Yeah, so each year we're going to take a look at your overall plan. It's not a sit and forget it type of scenario. We're in the thick of the game, right? We might need to pull out that trick play to benefit us moving on throughout the course of the year. But that's why it's so important to not only get that plan in place, but to keep tending to it, right? We need to keep paying attention and stay on track to make sure that not everything in life is always going to go perfect. Not everything in the plan is always going to go perfect, but we need to have backup plans or backup players that we bring into the game when we need them most.
And so to respond properly at the right time, when markets are down, we want to be buying. If all you've got in your portfolio is stocks and bonds, and they both go down, let's face it, in the last 22 years, stocks and bonds have gone down a third of the time, over 7 times. So what you're going to do during that time frame? We want to buy. We want to take advantage when the market comes up, not only get you to even quicker on the risk side, but when it goes back to even, the market where it came from, you're going to be making money instead of just getting even. That's where you want to be.
And of course, each quarterback has his favorite receiver, right? His favorite running back to get the ball to. So do you have any favorite investments out there that you would recommend for people?
That comes interesting because, again, making a blanket statement about recommendations, but one thing we do talk about a lot is what we call structured notes and annuities.
Okay.
This is where we want to put the money. Some of it's at risk, some of it's guaranteed, but we want to put there so that critical income need is never wavered. So we don't have to worry about the markets going down so we can have our normal income every month. So those are a little bit of tips we'll talk about, but it's really structured for each client because some clients don't need that. They have enough pensions and Social Security coming in that everything's about lifestyle, so they don't mind taking a higher risk. So it's really based upon, you tell me the defense, I'll show you my offense.
I love it. Okay, and what about lineup card? All right, what do I need to bring in? I'm sorry, that's a baseball term. I went over to baseball.
Yeah.
But what do I need to bring in? If someone's watching this and they're like, I really do need, some people I know have their retirement plan set, and they've done it once, and they think, now it's set, and I just got to let it roll. And as you mentioned, Taylor, that it's not really how it works. So what can people bring in to see if they need to make an audible or pull out a trick play?
Yeah, so we have a retirement checklist that we send out to our clients when they're coming in for that first appointment. But things like the last 2 years' tax returns, pay stubs, investment statements, bank statements. If you've got a mortgage statements and insurance pieces, there's a long list on there. So we're very detailed in making sure that, hey, this is what we need. It's very easy for clients to gather that information in and bring it in to make sure that, we're protecting the whole team. And as a part of that, the trick plays and bringing other people in, we need to make sure that we're protecting that other spouse or that other quarterback, right? So we're the defensive line to take care of the people that are going to run and enjoy that retirement plan all the way through.
And as Taylor talks about trick plays, the trick play for us is when the market's down, buy. It's one of the things that people say, well, that's a fundamental you should be doing. But most advisors and investors don't do that. So once again, it's having the plays in place that we can make this execution, and that's the key of it, having it executed at the right time.
Well, we need a couple of good coaches, and I think we got some right here. And you guys are offering a pretty good deal for those watching right now.
Yeah, if you've saved $500,000 or more for retirement, or you're already retired, call us. What we're going to do is do a complete enhanced plan. That means we're going to check out your estate plan. We're going to look at your tax plan. We're going to look at your income. Where is it coming from? We're going to look at your investments. Are you in the right risk category? You should be. Maybe you're taking too much risk, or maybe you're not taking enough risk for where you need to be. So if they want to call us, we'll take that for the next 5 callers by calling 514-3831. That's 616-514-3831. And we'll take the next 5 callers for that.
Appreciate it, Gary. It's a great offer. But a lot of X's and O's on the whiteboard there, guys. So if you want a couple of coaches who can walk you through this and get you to that retirement, here's what you need to do. Make sure you have that winning game plan in retirement by taking advantage of the special offer from Mattson Financial. As you heard Gary mention, if you're retiring or even already retired, Gary, Taylor, and the rest of the team are going to sit down with you personally to customize a retirement plan, a game plan, just for you. This is a comprehensive, enhanced plan that looks at your investments, your income sources, your taxes, and so much more to help get you to and through that retirement goal line. Call now, 616-514-3831. That's 616-514-3831.
Go green.
Go white.